Donkey Kong Show. Come on down and see the Donkey Kong Show. Got 412 barrels ready to roll. On your market, set and ready. Now go. There's 17 fire metrics cruising around, so you better not be too slow. Try and come down and see a gorilla who's on swole. Way atop the pie factory with Penelope Yoho. Floating hammers in the air and danger everywhere. Try to reach the top and take me down if you dare. Donkey Kong Show, you know the rules. Enter the building one at a time. Good luck to you. We got a pretty good outline today. I got interrupted at the end. I had to go husk some groceries when my mom got home on Wednesday. But yesterday I saw my. I'll get to that. I'm just 6 pages away from reaching 300 milestone for 48 months in a row. I'm pretty stoked. I finished notebook 124 late last night. I only did 7 pages yesterday. I wrote 3 during the Democratic presidential debates, and I went to bed at like 10:30. I was pretty assed out yesterday, so I crashed early, and I woke up at like 3:30 in the morning and ripped up 4 more pages, finished that notebook, and I'm on the last leg. I could see the finish line for book number 17. It is definitely a goodie. I'm digging it. I'm back, and I told you about it. I'm back with For Real, the rapper. He was Elijah and Esther's buddy from San Jose, and he was I imagine Exhibit the rapper when I always try to imagine real life people when just to help me with my characters and stuff. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. He's back down and from doing a 6 month. He's about almost a month into a 6 month bid, and back in the second layer of hell in the Dis Hotel Dis and the Iron City of Dis, the Archdevil Dispader's capital in the second layer of hell. And it's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying that part quite a bit. That's where I'm going to end the book with. It's going to be quite a long. I told you how it was in the last third of book 16. The first third of a book 16 when you last saw For Real, and that part was probably 300 or 400 pages. It was pretty massive. I was thinking I started this book 17 with. I started out the book with For Real's thread, but nah, it's been quite a while since you've seen him, and then Dispader's not going to have a new scene to fiddle with. I told you about how she got wedded by her ex-boyfriend's amigos up in the third layer of Valerian. But anyways, enough about that. Got England's World Cup soccer team, the Women's World Cup. They're playing Norway today in the first Elite Eight game, and good luck to those 3 Lionesses. I'm looking forward to that quite a bit. And the USA will be playing tomorrow against France, the second best team. So that's going to be a tough one. Spain gave them a really good run. So, yeah, it's been a really nice tournament. Italy got rid of China, and the Netherlands squeaked past Japan in the stoppage time. So it's all European teams except for the Americans. So who knows? It's going to be pretty good. Oh, and yesterday I finished off that season with my Aztec Dynasty. That was pretty awesome. The best second, best first, best 1 half I ever had with my defense. I held Toledo to 7 yards of offense and sacked the quarterback 19 times. My linebacker, Pat Williams, he graduated. He got 14 sacks. His career best was 12. So that put him over. He ended up with 102 sacks. And this game's silly. It's fucked up because of the Northwestern those Northwestern busters and their lawsuits. So that's the last, that 2013 season is the last PlayStation call. If they ever do college football again, it's going to have to be imaginary schools, which is whack. So that's the very last one. That's why I would have got a new one by now. And that one is parents. It's like it doesn't let you play much pass defense in the second half, and like their receivers are always wide open, and then you're the second from the end of the. You hit a couple play actions early, but then after that, it's like you're throwing into these dinky windows all the time. Even though I tend to be pretty accurate, but then you're always holding your breath. That's why I went back to the ground and pound. I just got sick of the interceptions and stuff. I'm like not full ground and pound, but about 3/4. My quarterback ended up with a little under 4,000 yards, and set him one of my best. Yeah, it was. Oh, we had my best quarter. I could have had 65 or 66 points I missed two 2-point conversions, but we had a 52-point second quarter. We had a patch where we freaking had 4 turnovers within like 8 plays. Their quarterback fumbled and set us up at like the 13-yard line, and then he threw like 3 interceptions over the next like 7 or 8 plays. It was awesome. We scored 38 points in the first 5 minutes of the second quarter. But I made my new schedule. I just did my recruiting. It's by far the best recruiting class I ever had. We had 18 4-star players, 4 5-stars, and only 3 3-star players. I did have to cut 12 players. That's way more than usual. I had to get from 82 down to, they make you get down to 70, which is bullshit. Because like they have like small armies of like 100 players in college football. With this version, they make you get down to 70, which is lame. You end up sometimes having to cut some pretty high level recruits. But yeah, I like the way the team's gonna look a lot. We're gonna have 4. We didn't have any returning starters, so my team gave up 35 sacks, which is way more than usual. They're giving up tons of sacks. They couldn't run the ball at time. Not too many long runs in the second half. My running back ended up going a little over 3,000 yards. He didn't even break 200 in the title game, but I had like another back went over 100. A couple of them had like 60, 70. I was using like 5 different running backs. We'll have much better running backs next year, I believe, especially with the 4 returning starters on the line. There were 7 players who were going to bolt to the NFL, but I talked them all into told them they'd be high level first, second, or third round draft picks. I use draft picks as the carrot and stick to get them come back to school. So this next team's going to be big and fierce. I'm giving a rematch to Texas, but at our place, Toledo at our place, and then the third non-league game, because they have 9 SEC games. So the other one, I'm going to play number 4 Washington on the road. They go see the Huskies up in Seattle, somewhere around the late in the season. But those first 2 games will be at home. We'll have 6 home games. This year I had 7 home games. The next year go back to the usual 6 and 6, 6 home, 6 away. And the visit went very nicely with my Uncle Mike. It was good to time travel. My little cousin Mikey's gonna be going into 10th grade. He got straight A's in his 9th grade, so he's gonna probably have any pick just about any college he wants to go to. I hope he keeps it up. And yeah, it was good to see my Aunt Alicia and Mike. I told you I was a star baseball player at Joplin, Missouri, all 4 years under a 2 ERA. Played some rookie ball before he got into his Stonehenge Riot band that he opened up for REO Speedwagon in Kansas. He was quite a character. That was kind of something I looked up to when I was little. When he moved out, he got divorced from his wife. He was just selling shoes. He had married a rich girl. He showed me that house in Joplin. They went for $120,000. It would be like a $2 million house easily with big marble pillars out front and a tennis court and a swimming pool in the backyard. A fancy like plantation style house. It was gnarly, and I couldn't believe how cheap it went for. But yeah, he came out here when I was in 4th grade. Then my uncle Zach came out the year after when I was in 5th grade. When he got out of Missouri prison, he was in Vietnam. And he got a dishonorable discharge. And he said that some Yankee planted, some guy from New York planted a sack of spliffs, and his too was dry. He drove a delivery truck, and he got hit by a mortar once. He got his teeth all jacked up. Okay, hold on a sec. My mom's at the door. Hold on. Yeah? Well, yeah, I'm going down. I'm here down. Okay. Right to there. Sorry about that, Mom. Just going out to get her, go to see her doctor, but get her glucometer read and monitor and stuff. So, anyways, yeah, Zach got he said he dropped a 4-way acid and watched a plane dump 2 jets fire zingers into the jungle and a napalm explosion. He was tripping balls on 2 hits of 4-way Owsley, orange Owsley 4-way. He was quite a character. All my friends loved Uncle Zach to death. The second summer I went back to Joplin, Missouri, was went for his funeral, and in 2004 was for my grandma's funeral, and they're buried in Miami, Oklahoma, with my grandpa, who's the one I told you about. I think my great grandpa Esco might be buried there too. I'm not sure. I didn't get to go to their funerals. Yeah, Mike didn't handle it too well when my great grandpa died. I could have really used the vacation, but he tripped out. He said, "Oh, we're the family," and nobody else got to go deal with his funeral. He took my grandpa's ashes back there. This is in 91, so I didn't get to mourn my those back there for that. That's when I was in that haunted apartment in San Marcos on the Indian burial ground with Patrick. And yeah, but that was kind of messed up. But I don't know, he took on the chin. He was really looked up to my grandpa. He was pretty hilarious. He was a war hero. I told you he got shot down twice, and Patrick's family owned that house we lived at on Pinzon Road in Westwood in Rancho Bernardo, and they would send, like, they called him Dirty Dog, and they would send like full squadrons out to try to shoot him down because even though he got credited for one kill, he would shoot out their tires or take out the pilots or fuck up their wings to give them a chance or make them have to try to learn how to fly on the fly. And then he ended up the first time they got shot down, he was on a raft for 2 weeks, and then the Filipinos hit him from the Japanese, and the second time he ended up in New Guinea and had to shoot it out with cavemen. So that was pretty gnarly. He got some disease in New Guinea. They were just there a couple days or something, but he got red spots all over him. And one time they accidentally bombed a Dutch base in Australia and got chewed out pretty hard for that. And they broke the record for the longest bombing run without refueling in World War II. They set the record. And only one guy from their whole crew died out of like 13 guys. Only one died. I know that's quite a miracle considering all they went through. But anyways, yeah, we went to In-N-Out Burgers and that was nice to visit Uncle Mike and Alicia and Mikey. And then we watched the end of the Padre game. They destroyed the Orioles. It stink. Have only won 22 games. So I think the Padres are about one game under 500, maybe 500. But this is the first time we got two guys with Frano hit 2 yesterday and Renfroe hit 1. So Renfroe's got 24 home runs and Ramon Reyes has 22. Fernando Tatis Jr. has hit his 9th. He's only 20 years old. He's hitting over 320 or something. Or thereabouts, and he just turned 20 about 3 weeks ago, and yeah, he could be in the running for Rookie of the Year. He got called up for a few games last year. He's really technically a rookie, and Machado hit 17, so if he could get 3 more taters, that we could have 3 guys with 20. And they're too bad it was only a 2-game series with the Orioles. They got swept by the Pirates, which is disappointing. They're in last place in the Cardinals division. But my favorite Red Hens but I'm kind of rooting for the Padres this year. Red Hens Cardinals have been disappointing and missed the playoffs 3 years in a row. I hope it's not going to be 4 years, but it's going to be hard. They're all in the. It's quite a log jam. It's pretty encouraging that the Padres are 1 year ahead of schedule. They're supposed to start braving next year, but they are at 1 year ahead of schedule. They have the best minor league system in baseball, and all these pitchers, most of them are second, third year guys, and they're holding it down. And a lot of times when the pitching's been starting to crumble a little bit, and but the bats have been coming through, and it's probably one of the years where they will melt down. Like late in the year to be a good tease, but it's better than when they're 20 games out and start kicking everyone's ass in September like they always do for many years in a row. Once they're buried by 22 games, they start peeling out. But anyways, enough about that. That was pretty cool. Oh, and I'm gonna get into what I was starting to cackle about when I had to go husk those groceries yesterday. It's quite involved, but yeah, my buddy Dago, who I told you about, the one who got to go on that flight through the Sportsman's Pub with Mickey Mouse all the way to from On the Wings of the Mighty One all the way to Borrego Springs from Lemon Grove that night in '95 when he got in that bar fight. But he might, I doubt if he will, but he might go to the Granite Hills game. We used to go look for the chippiest games, the biggest culture clashes, the ones that would be the most. We used to go to games all over the county back in the early to mid '90s, and it would be nice because Granite Hills, you could see the much of their stadium from John F. Kennedy Park, and yeah, there's not many games I could go to. Like I can't even sit up. You could watch the games from up behind the fence in Mount Carmel or up on the mountain, but they told me the CIF warned me I'd get arrested even if I try to watch a game from up there. So that's out of the question. But yeah, this is one of the rare places. As long as I'm not on the same sidewalk, I get JFK's across the street from Granite Hills. But those little rattlers say that the Granite Hills said they took it real easy on us last year, and they're not to expect the same treatment this time down at their house. And yeah, I was monitoring that game on Max Krebs, and I was thinking, fuck. I looked at their lineup. We had 3 guys, 230, but those were our biggest players. And Granite Hills had an 85 man roster. We only had about 40 kids last year. And they had 85 and like all these 300 pounders, and like half their team was over 200 pounds. A couple 290 pounds Samoans. Just like I couldn't. I could tell that they must have been going light because it was 28-0 at halftime, but Mount Carmel outscored them 14-7 in the second half. And I remember thinking like, oh, I hope these guys aren't these little class of 2019 Corey Bears aren't going to be little bitches about it. But I guess they were. They thought they had something going or like they didn't appreciate it. But whatever. I don't know what Granite Hills really expected out of them. How much fealty they wanted them to show. But yeah, I was in this crisis house called Halcyon, which is right in that. It's a really like glossy part of El Cajon, but it was scary. That place was haunted as fuck. I had some nutty roommates there. And when I got kicked out on purpose last night, I had this black guy who used to play for Coach Herb Myers of El Camino, which is up near Camp Pendleton in Oceanside. He played defensive line, like a class of '80 or something. He was like about 8 years older than me. He was like talking to his mom, like, "I think he's so beautiful." He like really dig me and shit. He was always like big. He was never had cigarettes, but he was like, I called him long ducks, and he was just creeping me out. And that was when I finally flipped out and got kicked out on purpose the next morning. That guy was scared me shit out. And I don't think he was gonna like rape me or anything, but it was just like real creepy. Like I could hear him like talking to his mom like trying to talk him out of something. I don't know, but yeah, I remember I met this chick who looked a lot like Yolanda, and I ended up becoming really good friends with her. She went to Castle Park, which is in like Otay Mesa, like a sketch part of Chula Vista in South Bay. I hooked up with her a few times. Things were a little bit patchy, pretty scraggly between me and Yolanda at the time, and I made really good friends with her. I ended up seeing her when I was at this other crisis house the first time I was at Vista Balboa, and she'd lost like a grip of weight. I inspired her to like start doing just really long walks, and it worked. She was like very overweight, and she looked hot when I saw her, but she had a new boyfriend. I never ended up like reconnecting with her, but it was nice to see her. I don't know, I forget what she was doing. She wasn't in the Vista Balboa, which is in Bankers Hill across from Balboa Park. And it's haunted as fuck too. That one was even more haunted. I saw some good haunts the first time I was there. Oh, and I had this roommate who played for that Bonita Vista team that Marlon carries. He was a sophomore who got called up to Bonita Vista. He said, or he might have been varsity that whole year. Oh yeah, I think he was. He was a pretty good linebacker, I guess. Oh, and he was on this other team 2 years later, one of Gary Jolk's first team, and they destroyed. They sucked. They went. Oh no, it was Gary Jolk's second year, and we destroyed Bonita Vista at our house 40-9. But he said Marlon Carey was a total jackass. He said he never stopped talking shit the whole game, total goon, very reckless, used his head as a weapon. He was complaining about him. But yeah, another guy from Bonita Vista when I was in CMH County Mental Health. I had this nutty a devil worshiper like Hessian roommate. I ended up seeing him with this band called Tomorrow's Child with this one friend of mine. He took me down to this club in El Cajon. But that guy was on a team that played fucking Vista, and then that year they had 16 teams. So in those days, you couldn't go 3 wins with all these like 5 divisions and shit. It was like more cut and dry when it was 1A, 2A, 3A. Hardly anyone played 1A, and all these Cactus League teams were playing 8-man back in those days. But they lost to Vista 63-3, and he said they were burping on that bus ride on the way home after they played a big, nasty team in Vista. That guy was quite a character, and that was cool to see him when he gave me props. You remember, hey, I was in he called it rehab, but it was county mental health, a level 13 adolescent. That was the scariest hospital I was ever in. It was down by the sports arena where the Clippers used to play and our Seals play, and the indoor soccer team, and what else? They got the gold hockey play there still. But the Clippers used to play there, anyways. I'm digressing. Oh, and I had a crazy ass dream the other night, last Friday. I had a dream that I wasn't going with Dago to that game, but there was no JFK Park. Granite Hills was way down in this canyon. We had to walk. I went with my brother, my mom, my brother, and his friend Chase, but they were little kids again, and they went to my favorite, my second favorite game on the best win of Darren Spence's career. He was a lousy coach, but we came back from 21-0 down against Poway, a real nasty Poway team that finished second to Carlsbad. And yeah, they were down 21-0, and then my brother ended up, Chase really digged this game. Chase went to Grossmont, but my brother, they were like in middle school. They were digging our cheerleaders. And yeah, we came back and beat them. We were winning 24-21 by halftime, and we won like 37-35. But it was like we've only beat Poway like 2 to 3 times in the last decade, but that was like one of the better ones. And yeah, it was quite a comeback. And our team was all fucked up though. They lost. They got blown out. Ramona kicked the shit out of us, and then we lost in the first round to Hoover. I think I mentioned this, but yeah, it was a great game. But in this dream, but they were little kids, and we had to go down in this canyon. We couldn't watch I thought we could watch the game from the JFK Park, but it wasn't there. We had to, instead of like a regular street in a neighborhood, we had to go walk like 2 miles down this canyon. And then the stadium was massive. It was like Azteca, where the Mexican national team plays, and Pumas, and Flow America, and all these sky boxes and shit. But the field had no lights, and all these Granite Hills fans chased us out on the Mount Carmel was running out of the tunnel. We didn't go through their practice, but the Mount Carmel was like, what the fuck? You know, they were like running at half the team was out there already. And like how they were doing like the thing where half the team comes out like they used to like start shit with the other team. And then yeah, there was no there was just a scoreboard, but then we ended up watching it. I was paranoid about getting arrested during the whole dream. Now, I went to bed super late that night, and then my mom woke me up to give me my. I had to get up at 6 o'clock to do my insulin shot in my leg, the bigger shot. But then it was like getting shot out of a cannon. It freaked me out, and yeah, so I was pretty disoriented on Friday. But I remember Mount Carmel was losing 35-17 in the dream. It was like 3 minutes into the third quarter. We were already down by 18. It didn't look too good for what I bet. You could hardly see anything. There were all these glossy like sky boxes and lounges. But that was when I woke up, and it was pretty bizarre. I was just talking to Dago about this, and then all of a sudden I had this insane dream. And then my brother and Chase were little kids again. Anyways. Oh, but how I ended up in that house jump place, that was I haven't talked much about the evil leprechaun. I'll just call him Leprechaun in here. I don't want to, you've probably seen his real name a couple times if you read my Keeping Up with the Post on the career limiting Facebook post. But yeah, there were these essays that lived at my apartment in Lemon Grove. And I had nothing to do with them. I had no problems with them. They tried to intimidate me when I first moved in there, but fuck them. And then Bailey wanted me and Dago to do some shit, and I hadn't done any go fast in over 6 years. But after 3 hours, he just kept begging and begging. Fuck! I finally got sick of him tackling and begging. And then I went to this one older like home girl. She was older than me, probably 5 years older than me, or no, she was older than that. Yeah, she was in her 30s, but she had 3 kids, 2 girls and a guy who was in the Barrio Lemon Grove. Her son was in that BLG game, but then they started their own little clique. They called Wade Street Locos as a joke. And I never had, like I said, I shagged that mom a couple of times, but I never had nothing to do with them. And then I went and got some shit. And then they started getting up under me. I accidentally fucked things up. I thought the youngest girl, she was like 14. She was about to start Helix High School. I thought she knew that her mom was selling twirlers. And then I fucked that up. And then that's when those essays got up under me. And I ended up smoking angel dust with them. Oh, and I shagged Auntie Nima. I wasn't worth the shit. I think I mentioned this in one of the early Donkey Kong shows, but I shagged Auntie Nima there. She dropped out of STSU with a semester left to go, but she was working in the at that house John place, and I was no good. That time I was all burnt out from coming down from Twill and smoking a little sherm stick. So one of the guys, the one known as Freddie, his dad lived like a couple houses down from my apartment complex in this little house. And he had a bunch of embalming fluid, and that just ruined my life. I didn't get evicted from that apartment, but I wouldn't mind. They graffitied my whole living room and shit. And and that was when this guy that a fucking social worker. I didn't know that you don't talk to social workers or not, and then just shoot the shit with them. Don't get serious with them. He showed up, and they got, oh, it's a social worker, this guy, and all the homeboys ran and jumped out my back window. They didn't even want to be seen by this guy. They were like, I didn't realize. And then he started talking to he had permission to talk to my mom. She didn't know much about boarding cares. But I ended up in this concentration camp called Davis Manor, and I told you about that on Skyline at the end of the Lemon Grove end of Skyline. That wasn't a good place at all. But yeah, Craig, like Leprechaun, evil Leprechaun, got messed up my life pretty bad. He started munching out not long after that too. But I don't want to talk too much about him today. But yeah, it was his fault that I got involved with those homeboys and all that, and it led to quite a stink in my life, quite a messed up thing to deal with, and oh yeah, I guess the only other thing I'll just say is this isn't related to the Granite Hills, but I think Mira Mesa in the third game will be a lot more beatable because they're not playing the two of the easiest teams in the county, Patrick Henry and Escondido. They're playing. I forget who it is, but they're both really hard teams. So they're not going to come in fresh as a daisy like the last 2 years. And the away team has won every game in the series. The last two were at Mount Carmel, so Mirror Mace has a 1 game edge in the series. But we're playing them at their house, so maybe that's a good omen. I think that's one of the winnable games. They get a little chipped up, and then they finish second. They beat Poway for the first time in their history in the semifinals, and they lost. They got their asses kicked by Lincoln in the finals. But hey, give props to Mirror Mace. I mean, they've had a ton of silver, not a ton, but they've had about 4 silver medals in their history, twice as much as Mount Carmel. So that was a nice run they got on, and they won. Yeah, they upset Madison and some really good teams. So they had a nice year, and we blew a 16 point lead against Mirror Mason in the fourth quarter. It was back and forth. For some reason, we've been playing them tough. All the games have been close. And Gary Joe, for some reason, his team didn't have a very good career. He didn't last too long. He was the only one to go 0-10 in 2003. But that team was basically a JV team. That was right when they built their whole JV team was gutted. That was 1 year before Westview started playing varsity, but it messed up our program. It gutted our JV team, and the next year Willie Sneed's team kicked the shit out of Westview's first varsity team. But yeah, they had a real rough time. Gary Jobs last year, but his teams always got up for Mary Mason. They were 2-1 or 3-1 or something, and yeah, we were lucky we didn't play them when they got that. Teo Johnson moved down in for the '98 season, but '97 they stopped doing it because all the Filipino gang shit was getting out of control, and then they just didn't want to mess with it anymore. But yeah, they just started the series back up again. And Lucas Johnson's, we won the wait. I think I don't know. The first one might have been at our house. Well, no, because they lost that one. Here. Oh no, we won the first one. Yeah, so it must have been Lucas Johnson's junior year. We beat them over there, and then they upset. I don't know if you call it an upset, but our good team, they got a silver medal. We lost to Mira Mesa. Lucas Johnson had a terrible game, but Scott Boyd's Georgia Tech starting quarterback at the moment, and Rashid's going to be coming in to play with Weber State against the Aztecs. And yeah, but Gary Jolk's teams, I'll give them credit. They would get up for Mira Mesa. And then we were lucky we didn't play that team with Teo Johnson. They played in the NFL, and he had a twin brother that was just as big. They both went to Stanford, I think. And I know at least Teo played for Stanford and kicked ass, tight end and a basketball star. So we dodged one there. They probably would have got rid of that team. And oh, and Ricky Sharp's Ricky Sharp's senior year, we had to forfeit all of our games for an ineligible player, but they were supposed to play Granite Hills in the first round. It would have fucked them up. Granite Hills was shit. They've been good for 3 years in a row, but they were tired for about 25 years. Back in the day, they were like the mirror image of Orange Glen. Like when Orange Glen before Valley Center, they'd win 7 or 8 games at least every year. And they weren't much fun to play. But for East County, Granite Hills was pretty fierce. They would go 7 and 8 every year. You know, they'd get their ass kicked by Helix usually. They didn't beat Helix in like 100 years. But for East County, they were real mean. But they got their shit together for 3 years. They upset Valley Center 2 years ago in the to get to in the semifinals or something. They ended up with a silver medal that year. And yeah, it'll be interesting. I hope I get to go. So I'm gonna go see it either way. It could be cool to get some friends to go with me, but either way, it's just not far away, and I can watch it without. I can even ride the bus home if my mom's doing something, no problem. So even I can walk. It wouldn't be like 2 hour and a half walk or something if I had to. So it's not a sketch neighbor, not a sketch part of El Cajon. So yeah, it'd be all right. But anyways, I'm gonna move on. Um, I'm gonna talk about some stuff that happened down in that. I've alluded to it a little bit in some of my posts for the career limiting. I think I'm gonna leave it at this six. We're already up to 33 minutes. I think this will be enough. But yeah, Lance Ito to put me. I've mentioned it, but I'll go more into it. When I was in Lemon Grove, I moved down there. I evacuated my embassy up in East Escondido and moved down to. I fled to Lemon Grove, and Lance Ito somehow decided to guinea pig me. I told you when he was like they were doing these webcams, and these webcam technologies were being experimented with. I talked to my buddy Vance who worked at Sony. He said, yeah, it was around that time they started getting the technology. They could put a two-way thing in any TV. I think that's why they spent $8 billion to turn everything to digital with the TV. When there's a lot, and eventually they're going to have a mass because the prisons are so overcrowded and so costly that they're going to have a massive. It'll create millions or thousands and thousands of jobs that people monitor. Like in 1984, a stay-at-home prison type of thing where they could monitor people, pay people to monitor prisoners, and it'd be like a probation thing. As long as you don't fuck up, you could just live in a little apartment, and you just have to get special permission to leave. I mean, who knows? I've heard of speculation about this, but Vince said, yeah, that was around the time when they could start putting these things in their TVs and flipping it on anyone they wanted to if they could. But I think it's much more widespread now that they're all flats. 99%. And my mom still got a deep dish, but most people got flat screens. And yeah, I ended up being the one called Haile Selassie, the alternate juror in the OJ trial. You never probably hear about that in any of these OJ books. Or I don't know if they're even allowed this to be out there or in any of these OJ movies or series and stuff. I bet you they haven't said anything about me. But I'm in Living Grove, and those homeboys I told you about, I was slinging lurks for a little bit, and I was slinging lurks for my ex girlfriend was hooking me up, and I only did it for a couple months. But Lancito turned the first day of the OJ trial, and I got Puppet, Pirate, Tweety, Rojo, the one known as Freddie. He wasn't from Living Grove. He was for Sherman, and his peckerwood named Caleb. We're all in my living room. And Lancito turns and goes, "Oh, that's a mighty big bag of weed you got there, Haile Selassie." We're all, what the fuck? That was the very first day of the trial, and it was like the late night comedians would just say Haile Selassie or kind of allude to me, and then the crowd would cackle and laughter, without him even saying my name. And yeah, and Bill Clinton ended up taking up for me, and he showed me shooting hoops at that Martin Luther King Elementary School in Lemon Grove. It's not technically La Mesa, like the 94th Bridge is about 50 yards from Lemon Grove. I just say Lemon Grove. It's about a 15-minute walk from Helix High School up on Massachusetts and Wait. I was on Wait Street or Wait Drive, and yeah, so Bill Clinton took up for me, and he set up this two-way thing where anything that's live TV, I want to. Lance Million got $2 million, or he wouldn't have taken that OJ case. I would have rather had $1 million and got the hell out of that neighborhood. And it was actually pretty cool. Just my apartment and the one next to it were really sketch, but other than that, it was all it was more chill than the Reputation. There was just one night I used to walk home from the trolley at 11 o'clock, and nothing ever happened. But it wasn't coming home from school. I just went for a walk, and one night, like these six black kids in Lakers jackets, all had Lakers jackets, and fucked with me, pretending they were gonna kick my ass. And then later, three Mexican kids over in the Lomitas area, little barrio close to the trolley station. One of them pulled out a knife. He said, "We're gonna stab what's this white boy doing out here at night." But other than that, I walked trips around at night all the time. I went to saloons till super late. No one ever fucked me. It was just that one night. It was just a fluky thing, but it was actually all right. But there's other parts of Lemon Grove. The further east you go, they're much more squirrely. I probably wouldn't have gone as well. But anyways, I wanted to just clarify that. And yeah, but now anytime there's live, I think when it's available, I can tell. I get people to fucking freak out. I've had about 15 times. I've got people on ESPN to nut up and get mad at me. Late shows. I think they do like different versions of the late shows where they could just see me and stuff. And I got the celebrities to trip out. The night we beat Valhalla to go to we ended up our team, that Matt Rochelle team of the 2010, the one that beat San Pasquale the night that I found out about the movie deal and shit. And they come back and beat Valhalla, but I came home and Mike, the Situation, is in prison. I got him on the Letterman show. They're doing probably a late night version of that just for me. And I was talking about Valhalla, and I was drinking a 40 of Old English just to celebrate. And I got Mike's Situation to say Valhalla out loud. I swear to God. And Dave Letterman goes, "What? You mean like Asgard and the Norse? What are you talking about?" And he goes, like, Situation, like losses. Oh, and Michael Cohen, Trump's attorney's in the same prison that fucking the Situation's in. But it's got like tennis courts and a 24/7 rabbi counseling and kosher food for the Jewish inmates. But you better watch out because the Italian mafia and the Aryan Brotherhood are crazy about Trump. And there was a nephew of some crime boss in Philadelphia that's in that. I don't know. No, he's not in that prison, but he was interviewed and said that before Cohen testified that there's going to be a big hit out for him, but he better stay low. But anyways, that's now 6 of the 7 things. I think I'll leave it at I'll start. I think 6 is good enough for today. It's been 40 minutes, but it's been fun. But okay, Donkey Kong Show. You know the rules. Enter the building one at a time. Good luck to you. All right, until they